Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. Those of you that watched my last video, you might have caught something a bit different on that last trip up Mount Hancock. That was the first hike I did with this piece of gear, and I wanted to go on at least one hike with it before I give you guys my thoughts on it. Considering that hike was a good 7-hour hike, roughly, walking around with it. I have a pretty good feel for the things I liked, some of the things that I didn't like. For those of you that didn't catch it, I'll let you know what it is. It's actually this piece of gear right here. It is a new backpack. Now there's nothing wrong with the Osprey backpack that I've got. As a matter of fact, I still really like that backpack. But this one has something very unique to it that I really liked. For those of you that don't know, this is from a company called Wandrd. And they make travel bags. Essentially they make travel bags that are geared more for people that are into photography and videography. And that was pretty much the main draw why I got this bag. And I'll open it up in a moment, so stay tuned for that. But before I get into that, this is the Wandrd Fernweh, which is German for, I kind of like wanderlust, essentially. I think quite literally means distance sickness. And that basically just means you want to go out for adventure, which is a very fitting name. It's a very unique bag, it's a very niche bag. So without any further ado, let's get into the bag itself. For my sake, I can say the bag is very comfortable. I didn't have any of the shoulder chafing or anything like that. I will note that I packed it up a little bit heavier than I normally would for just a typical day hike. Because that Mount Hancock loop was literally just a day hike, I didn't necessarily need this big of a bag, but I wanted to try this one out. Leave it to me to make the Mount Hancock trip just a little bit harder on myself, but it's for your sake. And since it is for your sake, if you guys wouldn't mind doing me a favor and subscribing to the channel, I would really appreciate that. Really help this channel grow. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and yeah, that's my goal. I would really like to hit that. Anyway, let's get back into the bag here. Let me get into the specs of the bag first. The bag comes in two sizes. It comes with a small medium and a medium large. So I'm 5'8". I got the small medium. I'm not a really thin guy. I do have a little bit of bulk, so there are a couple adjustments on this. I also will note too that if you get the small medium, the capacity is about 48 liters. While the capacity of the medium large is actually 50 liters. In case you're kind of on that cusp and you want that extra 2 liters of storage, maybe you can get up it to the medium large. But there are some adjustment points on the back where these shoulder straps are. They kind of like loop in here to these, there's kind of like loops in the back of the bag itself, and you can adjust those, and there's 3 different adjustments. To continue on with the specs, the bag itself weighs about 5 pounds. According to the brochure that I got, in either configuration, small, medium, or medium large, by far not the lightest bag in the world. When you're trying to protect your camera gear and everything like that, I think you sacrifice a little bit of weight to protect your camera gear. So that's the specs for the bag. I will mention as well, it comes in 2 different colors. It comes in a black, and it comes in this one, which is a gobi tan color. Now, I'll admit, I got the white because I thought the white looked really cool and I really liked it. However, I am a bit worried about it getting dirty. I looked on the website and I saw that basically just clean it with warm soap and water. That's pretty much what you do. But I put this down several times on my trip, and suffice it to say, I don't have any scuffs and I don't have any stains or anything like that on it, even on the bottom, which is where it basically rested all the time. Now when it comes to the bag itself, the material is very robust material. I actually forget what the nylon ratings are for this bag. I'll put that specification right here when I get that, so that way you're aware of what the material is. Now when it comes to the zippers, a lot of the zippers are, actually all the zippers are the YKK zippers, but not all of them have like a weatherproof seal on it. So for instance, this one on the side at the top, as well as this big one here down the middle. But the ones on the inside, these big ones like this one right here, as well as the one that's kind of like stuffed away under here, those are technically not weather sealed, but the design of the bag is pretty neat because it has like these little flaps that kind of like go over and roll over those seams. So when it comes to the padding itself, the padding on the shoulder straps is really good. I didn't really have any sort of rash or brush burn on my shoulders, which was good. The padding on the hip straps is also very thick, similar to the padding on the shoulder straps. But the padding that is on the back panel here, this is really nice. This is super thick padding, way thicker than anything that's on the shoulder strap or the hips. And there's also a lot of ventilation. You got the central channel here to vent, as well as venting across each one of the foam cells, which is really nice. So it's a very super comfortable back pad, without a doubt. I really enjoyed that. Now when it comes to the accessories, or I guess the external storage options for the bag, you've got like a little mesh bag here, which is nice. You also got external lashes here. I really like those because those are what I would use when I go put my trekking poles away. So I really like that. There's also a little mesh pocket here on the right shoulder strap. You can't really fit a cell phone or anything like that, so what I ended up doing was, you might have caught it in that video, was I actually ended up putting my flashlight, rechargeable flashlight that I have in there. You also have some potential lash points here with these little shoulder strap loops right here on both sides. The left side of the shoulder strap doesn't have anything. On the side, your left pocket, you've got a zipper. This is also a waterproof or water resistant zipper. That just opens up to reveal a little hip pocket that you can put stuff in. You can fit your phone in there, or your day snacks or something like that. This would be the left side of the bag. That's the quick access. That's a YKK weather resistant zipper. On the back of it, you've got this massive pocket right here, which zips down. This reveals, you can see I still have some of my stuff in here from when I went hiking, but it also has a hydration pack pocket as well as the little loop to clip it onto. So that's really nice. And another cool thing I like about it too is you can see when I open it up, it has this little like gusset right here, so that stuff that does come in here, if it does float down towards the bottom, it won't necessarily fall out when you open up the bag. Now, even though it does have the waterproof zipper, if you put damp stuff in here or something like that, there actually is a little drain hole at the bottom of it. That's a good feature. And then underneath this pad, you probably just saw it, you have access to the main compartment through these zippers right here. We'll show that a little bit later. You do have some straps here at the bottom, which these can be used for, I'm told that these are for skis. They kind of have like a claw hook design. But what's really neat is if you're not using them, it has this little space here where you can like quite literally just tuck it away, which is pretty neat. Stick that in there. And it has one of those loops on either side. Now this would be the right side of the bag if it's on your back. You also have this massive pocket here, which this is what they call the water bottle pocket. And this is a fairly large water bottle pocket. I mean, you could definitely fit a 1 liter smart water bottle in here, no problem. It also has a little gusset here. Now, this will bring me to actually my first con of the bag. It's this water pocket. It's not necessarily the water pocket like being that it's bad. It's located exactly where you would expect a water bottle pocket to be. But considering it's a sealed compartment versus one that's just open to air that you could just grab it and drink and then put it back, that means if you do store water in here and you want to go for a drink, you have to take off your bag, unzip this, drink your water, put it back, put your bag back on. That's pretty inconvenient as far as I'm concerned. Now you can potentially solve that issue by using the hydration pack, but not everybody wants to use a hydration pack. So I found another solution, which I'll get to that when it comes in, because I've gone on outdoor adventures for a long time. I bike a lot, I run a lot. I know hydration is a very key thing. And if you don't have quick access to your water, I know for a fact, you're probably gonna forget to drink it. And being that when I drink water, I will try to make sure I have a drink like at least a sip like every 5 to 10 minutes. That can be very troublesome if you have a bag that you have to take off every single time to get to the water bottle. I do like the fact that it does have kind of like the YKK rain resistant zippers on there. So to me, if I take this for a backpacking trip, I would put the water that I want to keep for cooking or something like that at my campsite, that will stay in here, or any water that I get off the trail, that will stay in here. So anyway, that's the one con that I have with the bag so far. The other thing about it too is like technically where these straps are, when you strap this and you want to cinch it down or use it to hold something on the outside of your bag, it also covers the zipper. If this is lashed down really tight, then you can only open your zipper that far, which might be enough to get a bottle out, maybe not. Now, a cool thing about this pocket though is if you're not using this as a water bottle holder, you can put your tripod in here pretty easily. Now that's the sides of the bag. We'll get into the back panel, which I kind of already showed you a little bit. But what's neat about it is it does have a lot of handles. You've got 2 handles, one on either side. You also have a handle at the top, and you also have a handle at the bottom. I'll also mention briefly that I forgot to, the hip pads are technically removable. They're held on with like a really thick Velcro. You can kind of hear that. There's one more section that I want to talk about though real quick, and that is actually the bottom of the bag. And this is probably what drew me to this bag the most of all the products that Wandrd has. And that is, it doesn't look like much right now, there's really nothing here, but there's a hidden zipper. And what you do is you undo that, and then in here, you actually have this little piece of fabric. And then what this does is this acts like the straps that I have on my Osprey bag. For my instance, I put my tent here. Take it around right here, and then it has these little like hooks. They're not really like the buckles that hook into two little lash points underneath the zipper here. And then you just cinch this up, and then you have this nice little platform that you could use to mount your anything that would be too big to fit in the bag. And that is one feature that really drew me to this bag, because I don't know what I would do with a backpacking bag that didn't have that. Being able to store your tent or your sleeping pad outside of your bag is massive, massive savings in regards to space and storage. So I love that feature. Them incorporating that is fantastic, and the way they did were, again, if you're not using this thing, you just shove it away. Also here there is a little Velcro sealed pocket that you can open up, and that can store the rain fly. Along with that too, I didn't mention it before, I mentioned the drain hole on the front pocket here, but there also is a drain hole right here on the bottom as well. And then other than that, that's really all you see on the bottom. Now for the top of the bag, you just basically have the one zipper here. This is a fairly deep zipper pocket, as well as on the top you also got two lash points here. And then you also have access to the main compartment through this zipper right here at the top. And that opens up. So on the inside of the bag you have a mesh pocket. Not very expandable, but it is a decent amount of depth to it, but that's a good size. So the inside of the bag, they have this, what they call a bucket. And that's this piece of fabric that goes all the way down. And this bucket is removable. There is a zipper here. This one zipper that's on the top part, this is the one that will remove that barrier and essentially remove the bucket portion of it. Otherwise, you keep that in there, which I probably will keep it in there because I like the idea of having all my hiking stuff kind of separate from the bottom compartment, which will be basically my camera gear. Now this other zipper that you see in here, that is actually when you open up the bag from this section of it, where you can then get access to the stuff inside of this while you open this up. Now I'll mention as well, this might be another like slight con, more of a nuisance than a con. These zippers can sometimes get caught on this flap. I think what their intent was that this flap kind of like folds open as you see it here, and then when you're done zipping it, you just boom, fold it down. Let's get into the access of this part of it, and then boom, you have access. This is the divider for the bucket that they have in there. It does have a zipper here so that you can open this up and then get access to your stuff. Then you can see what I have here, and this is what kind of separates this pack from a lot of the other backpacks that are out there. This is the camera cube. Now the camera cube is sold separately, it doesn't come with the bag. I bought the Essentials Plus camera cube, which was enough to fit my camera and two telephoto lenses along with it, and some small other accessories. I will show you the inside of that on the other side because you can't access the camera cube from this side of the bag. So we'll zip this back up. The other access point into the main compartment is through this back panel. Now you kind of have to like fold these out of the way, and then there's two zippers at the back here. And then you get access to the camera portion of it, or the photographer's portion of the bag. You can even see some of the recommended setups that they have here for the camera cubes. You also have a laptop sleeve. I actually just have my filters in there because my laptop is actually too big, doesn't fit. It's supposed to fit up to I think a 15-inch laptop, but it is really nice and padded. Now the camera cube is really well padded, really well made, which is then velcroed in very securely. That was my biggest draw, without a doubt, to this bag. I absolutely love the fact that it straps into the bag. There was one or two times where I took a little, not a tumble, but I did like slip. The camera was fine, everything was fine inside. I absolutely loved it. So that'll give you quick access to your camera, any accessories that you have, or if you don't use this for a camera cube, it'll give you another way to access stuff at the bottom of your bag. And then let's get into another feature that I like about the bag. I'll admit I haven't quite used this yet, but this is the, on the right side of the bag, sorry, the left side of the bag if it's on your back, is the quote-unquote quick access. Ideally, you unzip this, and then boom, you would have access to the inside of your camera cube right from here. The cool thing about it though is they actually have this little zippered pocket on the side here, and in these pockets you can put little things. Like right now I have some SD cards in there as well as some extra batteries. So yeah, with that, those are all the features of the bags, or of the bag, that I really enjoy. Like I said, I had one hike on it with it so far, about 7 hours worth of hiking. The bag was incredibly comfortable. The only major con that I could see, as I mentioned, was really the access to the water bottle holder. So who is this bag for? I would say it's more for the, amateur / professional photographer that wants to go out hiking and backpacking, spend some day trips out there, or even spend at least 1, maybe 2 overnight trips out in the wilderness with this bag. So that would be my use case. I think if you're a die-hard backpacker and hiker, and if you want like ultra light stuff, this bag really isn't for you. There's a lot of extra features in here that photographers might want, but not necessarily the normal hiker would want. As I mentioned, it is nearly 5 pounds, so that's a big difference in carrying weight. So if you're really concerned about your weight, this probably isn't for you. But then again, those people probably wouldn't be carrying tons of camera gear with them anyway. They'd probably just take their phones. So that's how that is, I guess. This is a very comfortable bag. Didn't even feel like I had it on, to be honest with you. It was that good. I really enjoyed it. It made that hike, almost made that hike a little bit easier than it should have been, I guess. And then also, I like the look about it. So a lot of people can find the look like a little bit divisive, I guess. I mean, this single pocket with the single zipper is not typically what you see in a hiking bag. So there could be people that don't necessarily like this design. I like it. I think it's a very modern looking design. So we'll see how it holds up over time, but I have a feeling it's going to hold up very well based on the materials that they used, the design of it, and everything. Yeah, overall, it's a pricey bag. I debated about getting this for a while. I researched, I did lots of reviews on camera bags, and in the end, the 2 features was the camera cube system to store my camera gear. That was actually probably the main reason. And then the second reason was it has just enough hiking features in it to make it a hiking bag for me. So I feel like it is a very versatile bag. I feel like it's kind of like a best of both worlds situation. I feel like for me that is kind of like what struck me about this. So you'll be seeing this more and more as I progress with my backpacking. So I hope you guys like this. This is my first attempt at kind of like a review-ish, I guess, of some of the hardware that I've got. And since the winter months are coming, I'm not going to be out hiking as much. I might do more gear reviews that I've got. If you guys have anything in mind that you might have seen me using on the trail, or something that I have in my backpacking gear review from like about a year ago that you want me to elaborate on a bit more, let me know, drop a comment. I will mention too, Wandrd didn't sponsor this. I purchased this myself. They did not give this to me. So anyway, that's all I've got for you now. Peace out. Until the next one.